you're here. Yeah, we're so glad you're here. Oh, we're so glad to be together in unity. It's okay.
Oh, so last week James talked a little bit about joy.
That's right.
You were talking about you were relating joy to being a symphony, and I thought that was really good. So we're going to extend that discussion a little bit today.
Well, you know, I wasn't able to finish last week's talk because I always have too many notes. So anyway, so there's a couple of things that I wanted to kind of give you before we get into the second part here, and that is we were talking about high beta. You remember when your brain is oscillating pretty quick, moving pretty fast, the frequency is too high, and you become anxious, right? Become anxious. And so one of the things you can do is something called the sighing breath. It's where you breathe in through your nose and let out a little moan, a little tone. And you'll discover that if you had like some kind of attachments to your brain, you could see the brain waves getting slower just by breathing and letting out your breath. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth.
When I do that, it feels like I'm just cleaning something inside. It's almost like a cleansing.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
Well, this physically breaks up that frantic pattern of thinking. It breaks it up so that you can get more calm and relaxed and just get into regular beta, which just means you're paying attention. Right? Yeah. Now, secondly, there's something called boredom. And boredom is when you're just like, your frequency, your vibration is really low. And you're kind of in a fog. Anybody here ever experienced that? You know, I have. You know, it's... So, what do you do to get out, to launch yourself out of that boredom? Well, see, boredom really, we don't understand what that state is for. That state of being is to engage our curiosity. When we're bored, it just means we're not asking questions, and most likely we're not asking the right questions. Say it with me. Oh. Right? And so you need to ask yourself a compelling question or focus intently on the things around you, noticing the table and how the smoothness of the table and the colors and the texture. And you begin to look at people and you begin to examine their ear. No. And you notice their beautiful earrings, and you compliment them, and you know what I mean? And that brings you out of that state into a more, a happier state. And it raises your vibe. What about confusion? Confusion is the clashing of the energies, right? And the way that you deal with that is you pause. You just stop. You just stop the thoughts. And you stop trying to force an answer. You ever do that? I just got to figure this out. I just got to make this happen. I just got to work this through. You want to stop and just take 3 deep breaths, and you'll move into that alpha state. Ooh, that calm, relaxed state, but still you're aware. That aware state. It's beautiful. I like walking around in that state. I'm aware, but on the inside, I'm feeling groovy. Yep. You know, feeling good. And what happens is all the clutter, the thoughts and the feelings, they start to settle, right? They start to settle. Isn't that wonderful? So these are some short, quick ways that you can deal with anxiety, boredom, and confusion. Hey, it didn't cost you a thing, did it? Here you are. Here we are. You never know what you're going to hear about at Unity. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Beware of what you set your heart upon, for it shall surely be yours." Rumi said, "When you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy." You like that river? Why is it that we don't spend time in that joy? What keeps us from our joy? What are we doing anyway? What are we doing? We want to get back and reclaim our joy, our passion for life, right? And get passionate about it.
I think one of the things that's probably important for us to remember is that joy is different from happiness. Happiness is kind of an elusive thing, and it comes and it goes. It's very motivated by the external circumstances, right? We're happy this moment, not so much the next. Joy is that constant inner state that we can always tap into, that is always present. And that's really what we want to live from, is that joy. So back to the little guy, saying, what did you have fun with this week? It's that internal, I'm always having fun.
Yes.
There's always joy going on if I'm living and in connection with that internal joy, which is a divine quality. This external stuff, this happiness state,
It's temporary.
it will keep you running. You'll chase from happy thing to happy thing to happy thing, and that's not what you want to do, because you'll become the hamster on the wheel that's just constantly looking for happy, 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 living from joy. So joy and happiness are two distinct things. We're talking about joy.
Joy is your natural state.
Connecting with that joy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a story.
Yeah, would you like to read it for us?
No, you can read it.
You sure?
Sure.
You have such a good reading voice.
Okay. I will joyfully let you know what this story is all about. It's about the gardener and the door of joy. So there was once a woman named Leah who lived in a small village, and she worked at a job that she didn't love. It paid the bills, but it drained her energy. And one morning, while she was walking to work, she saw a patch of wildflowers growing in the sunlight. And something inside of her whispered, "You should plant a garden." And at first, she kind of laughed it off. I think, I don't have time for that. How many of us done that? I don't have time for that. But the thought kept coming back to her, and it started making her heart feel light. So one weekend, she bought a few seeds and she started a small garden behind her house. She didn't do it to make money or to get any kind of attention. She did it because it felt good. And as the weeks passed, her little garden bloomed beautifully, and neighbors began to stop and admire it. And someone asked her if she could make bouquets for the local market. And that led to a flower stand. And that stand led to meeting new friends who helped her start a small business arranging flowers for weddings. Years later, she looked back and realized that a single spark of excitement and joy had changed her entire life and had moved her from a path of a job that she didn't enjoy, that didn't fulfill her, into something that did make her soul sing. She hadn't forced it. She had simply followed what felt joyful, one step at a time, and let it unfold. And that's what living from that joy place is like. just following those impulses, those little joyful gurglings, you know, those little quiet ideas. Oh, you should plant a garden. And then not ignoring it can lead to so much, right? All right. So when you follow what excites you, even if it seems small or silly, how many of us have said that to ourselves when something comes up? Oh, that's silly. What a silly idea, right? You step into alignment with your higher self, that state of joy. And each step then opens a new door. And that really is the secret of manifestation. Moving from one step to the next, to the next, to the next. And just letting it unfold. And that is such a natural feeling, unforced. If you're trying to force, I have learned, if I am trying to force something to happen, I'm causing a mess for myself. Because I tend to think of the things that make sense in my logical thinking. And what I'm supposed to be moving towards and moving into is not always in the logical, right? Spirit is not necessarily there in that logical thinking. So if I'm
Not your logic anyway,
in
or
my
mine.
logic, yes. So when I'm trying to figure something out or make it work, if I'm feeling in it, I need to examine that. Because it should come from a flow and an ease and a grace.
Because each step opens a new door. Each step opens a new door, which is the secret of manifestation. See, we try to make it happen all at once. We try to force things. Do we have any enforcers here? We want to make it happen, you know, and you can do that, and sometimes you can make things happen, but you're so stressed out afterwards. It's like, man, I don't know if I could ever do that again.
Yeah.
Right?
When I was in college, every time a break came around, spring break, fall break, Christmas break, whatever it was, I was sick. Because I would just work, and just you knuckle down and do, and then it was like when I had some time off, my body just went, oh, you need some downtime, and knowing that I wouldn't take it, I would just continue to force force myself forward. Sickness, something that would just put me flat, so that I had to pay attention. I had to rest myself. So that living from that place of just constant forcing, and it's draining. Have you found that to be true? It's draining. You don't want to do that.
You know, there's a difference between needing to take a vacation and just taking a vacation. Because a lot of people, they go on vacation, and then when they get back, they're so like,
They need a vacation.
Need a vacation from the vacation, right?
Yeah.
When you get up in the morning, put your feet on the floor, you say, thank you, thank you, thank you. You take a deep breath. And you say quietly to yourself, today, I choose to follow what lights me up. My excitement is the voice of the higher mind guiding me. I don't need to know the whole plan, just the next step. Right? Because your mind can't conceive of and hold the whole plan. If you knew all the wonderful, great, beautiful things that were in store for you, you'd be, what? You know, you couldn't take it. You couldn't stand it because there's so much.
And that one is sometimes the hardest part of that. You know, the power, the divine 12 powers for November is release. Releasing the need to know the whole plan.
Yeah.
That's big because we get into that questioning mind then of, well, what's going to happen if I do that? And where's that going to, and what's in, what, and before you know it, you're in that, what was that confused state, or that hyper sense state. And you don't want to do that. So release, let go of the need to know.
Live in the mystery. Live in the mystery, right? What wonderful, glorious thing, as we affirmed earlier.
Yeah.
What glorious thing.
Oh, that was perfect, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What glorious thing am I being led to today? Not tomorrow, next week, but today.
Yeah.
See, we're so busy planning, the future that we forget about that it's okay to be happy now. Mm-hmm. Let's say together, I'm happy now.
I'm happy now.
Right? So number 1, notice what excites you in every moment, in the moment. What is exciting you? What feels most alive? What's fun or interesting? What are you curious about? Right? Mm-hmm. Go with that. Follow that, because that is the higher mind talking to you. Isn't that wonderful? That's God on the inside. See, that's where God is. Everybody thinks God's way out there in outer space somewhere, sitting on a throne, looking down at us. Oh, those poor people. They're just awful,
And the throne has a button.
Yeah. And there's an angel with lightning bolts. We're going to teach that one a lesson.
So God is out there. Not
Yeah.
on a throne, not with a button, not all that, but God is out there. And God is in here.
In the scriptures it says that the universe is the throne of God and the earth is God's footstool.
Yeah.
Say it with me. Oh. So, what feels most alive? Alive. You know what it means to feel alive? Check your pulse. Yeah, there we are. I'm alive, right? Now, it could be a big thing, like starting a new project.
Yeah.
Or it could be a little thing, a small thing like making tea, calling a friend, right? I don't know. Whatever comes is what you need in that moment. See, you're not going to be doing big things all day, every day, right? You're going to be spending a lot of time thinking about where you're going to eat, what you're going to eat, making tea, cleaning the house, and those kinds of things. What you want to do is make it fun, make it exciting, make it joyful. Say it with me. Woohoo! Woo-hoo. You need to learn to say that more, right? Woo-hoo. Absolutely. Yeah. So whatever brings that little spark into your life, that's the soul, that's the spirit. That's the signal, the divine signal. The curiosity, the passion, the wonder, the quiet stirring, the little tickles of joy, becoming like a child.
For me, first thing in the morning,
I know.
That's coffee. I am tickled.
You just about got a standing ovation for that.
I am tickled awake by stirrings of, a hot cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Wonder what syrup I'm going to put in it this morning. What flavor of coffee I have this morning, because I have multiple flavors of coffee.
What you're saying is you really don't like coffee.
I don't. Coffee brings me tickles of joy in the morning.
But coffee wakes me up and I don't even drink it because she's in there grinding those beans. I guess it's time to get up now.
Yeah, I hear this little pitiful voice from the other room. Are you going to bring me a drink of that coffee while it's hot?
I allow myself to have 1 or 2 sips if she allows it.
Yeah. But we do digress.
Becoming like a child. Just life is fun. It's like our little friend here who really is teaching us so much.
Yeah.
What was fun? And in his mind, it's all fun. What are you talking about?
2 recesses, that's fun.
I had 2 recesses, So give yourself a recess,
Yeah.
right? It's beautiful. Animals in the wild, that's how they exist. As they get up and they sniff around. Ooh, that's an interesting smell. It's like your dog loves sniffing things. Now, you may not like the same things that they like to smell, but to them it's like it's glory, right? It's good. And they're really into everything, aren't they? I mean, you could leave the house and walk out the door and then go, oh, yeah, I forgot my phone. And you go back in the house to get your phone, and the dog going, hey, it's good to see you again. How you been? What's going on? Are we back together now? What? Are you going to feed me? Do I get a treat? Right? That's how we want to be in our life, and everything is new, and everything is a mystery, and it's magical if we will allow it to be. But what we do many times is we chop everything up, and then we separate everything out. We don't realize that there's a whole plan, a whole puzzle, and every day I get another little piece, and I put that piece in, and that's And that's how your life comes together, right? Number 2, once you see you get something like that, act on it. Act on it. Act on it fully. Don't just say, well, I think tomorrow I'm going to go do this because I feel like that would be a good thing. No, use that energy. Use that positive energy. Get up and go and do what you're being led to do. Give it your best energy and your attention, right? Even small acts, when done with joy, expand your frequency so you can receive it, right? So it's the little things that become the big things. And then the big things, they go back to being the little things. Isn't that right? Let's say it together. I act on my excitement completely.
I act on my excitement completely.
With love and integrity.
With love and integrity.
Did you get that? Number 3, release the outcome. Stop trying to figure it out. Because remember, it's not about what's going on out here. It's about what's going on in here. Make sense? It's your state of being that matters. Because your state of being will begin to bring to you what you need when you need it. Does that make sense? All you have to do is act on it. Fully, completely. So release the outcome. Don't chase results. All right?
Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss and the universe will open doors where there were only walls.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I remember when I was in school, there was this was before Leah, okay? But I had a life before Leah. Isn't that amazing? So, but I remember.
Let's see what's coming. He has to qualify it, you notice, so let's see what's coming.
See, now I'm under the microscope. You know what I mean? It feels like there's pressure here or
but
something.
You did it to yourself.
No, when I was back when they had junior high school. Does anybody remember that? I was in junior high, or middle school, as we say today. And there was this cute girl, okay? And I would look over at her and she'd look away, and And be walking down the hall, and just kind of looking. And she was kind of looking at me too, But she was playing hard to get. And you know what that did? That caused me to want to be close to her even more because she was playing hard to get, right? So I discovered spiritually, if you want something, just say, yeah, it's going to happen. I don't care. It'll work out. I'm not going to worry about it, right? And what you're doing in that moment is you're playing hard to get. You say, okay, God, if you really, going to manifest this, it's your job. It's not my job to manifest, right? My job is just to stay in the joy and to act on what I'm supposed to act, to follow the guidance. Let God be God and let you be you. Make sense? And so I release expectations and trust that everything is unfolding perfectly for my growth and joy. Step 4.
So did you get the girl?
No.
Okay.
She played too hard to get.
Okay.
I was in junior high, 5 minutes, here, there, whatever. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, so
I barely know never mind.
Step 4, I'm not going to let you finish that thought. Step 4 is moving to the next exciting thing. So once you've taken that step and that action that you have done feels complete, then you sit in that relaxed space and just ask, okay, what feels most alive now? What direction now? What sense do I have about things now? So you just keep following the trail of joy, and it will lead you straight to your purpose. Just keep following it. And then step 5, finally, bless what happens. Bless what happens. There was no qualifier on that. Bless what happens. If something seems wrong, pause and reframe. This is neutral until I decide to give it meaning, until I decide what it means. Right?
Yeah.
There are some energies that we encounter that are the exact same energy for excitement and anger. It's what we determine it is, and we label it and make it. So everything is neutral until you decide what it means. So if it seems wrong, maybe you just need to shift your idea about what it is, how it looks, what wrong is, and just say, this is just neutral. I don't know yet how it's going to complete. I don't know yet what's coming next. I don't know yet how this is going to play out and look, right? But I choose to see this as a part of my alignment and the expansion. I choose to believe that this is all well, right?
Well, I talked to a person one time who was very dramatic, just very dramatic. And everything that happened was big, big stuff, And this person came up to me and said, well, guess what? I was in an accident. I said, oh, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. It's just my car. My car is a wreck. My insurance is going to go up. And I'm going to be without a car. I'm not going to have a car. It's just awful. It's just terrible. It's just, this big, big stuff going on here in my life. I said, okay, let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens. I said, just, take care of your insurance. Do what they tell you to do. and just work the process. Well, guess what happened? She worked the process, and she ended up having to get a new car, and you know what? She was so happy with that new car. She said, I am so glad to be rid of that rust bucket, and now I have a newer car that I really love and enjoy driving. See, but what do? We start naming things before their time. We don't know. We just don't know. That's why it's good to live in the mystery, right?
And we always want to, step 6, end the day in gratitude. So as I have said so many times, there are 2 practices that I do every night as I'm going to sleep. I do my forgiveness work. I look over the course of my day. Is there anything that happened or that was said or done that put someone outside of my circle that I need to bring back in and have forgiveness with? And what occurred today that I'm really grateful for? Those 2 things, doing your forgiveness work and ending your day in gratitude, asking yourself, just like we did, with the little guy, what moments felt joyful today? What happened that felt really good, that excited me? What synchronicities showed up?
Yeah.
Are you noticing the little things that are happening that are synchronistic in your life? That's important to pay attention to. And what did I learn from that maybe didn't go as planned, as I thought it might go? Right? And then say, thank you, higher mind, for guiding me with excitement, courage, and grace, and I trust the process. Let's say together, I trust the process. And then I rest in the flow of creation. I trust the process, and I rest.
Yeah, because you and I, we are ocean, we are waves on the ocean.
Yep.
Right? Isn't that wonderful? You rise, and then you go back down a little, and then you rise, and come back in, and you go back out, and that's life.
Yeah.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is.
I want to read to you a little possibility story. You ever heard of a possibility story? What's that? Well, I'm going to tell you.
I'm going to move over.
This is called The Sanctuary That Dreamed Itself Awake. There was once a group of visionaries who gathered each Sunday in a modest chapel surrounded by trees and laughter. The space was simple, yet charged with presence. Within those walls, something luminous, something light began to stir. Joy began to stir. And the idea of a greater sanctuary came to them. I was reading in Unity magazine recently about a lady who had been the minister of this church of about 50 people for about 5 years. And she thought, okay, what do I need to do? And so she started looking around because they were in a real small, jammed up building, And so somebody called her and said, there's this property available I think you need to see. So she went and looked at it. And it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. And in her mind, she started thinking, we could rent that space out over there. We've got these beautiful gardens, and there's this wonderful, huge fountain, and the trees, and there's water, and there's places to walk and things, there's just beautiful little buildings and all kinds of things on the property that we could rent out. We could make money. And she said, well, how much is this? And the lady said, or the realtor said, $5 million. She goes, oh. And so she just, okay, all right. And she went back. And that Sunday, she was getting ready to get up. The next Sunday, she was getting ready to get up and give her talk. And but she couldn't help because she was so excited about it. She started telling everybody about this property. And anyway, several folks said, well, we'd like to go see it. I said, okay. And there was one lady who was there who had never been there before. She was new. She was new. She says, I want to go with you. I want to see this building. I want to see this property. So they went. Looked at it, walked up and down. Everybody was just really excited, you know. And then the next day, on Monday, she's sitting in her office. And this new person, true story, she comes in. And she says to the minister, you know, she said, I really love that property. And I really like what you're doing here. She said, I'll pay for it. She wrote the check for $5 million. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that something? I've seen that happen many times. There was another church that they needed $300,000 to pay off a property, which is kind of what we need. By the way, I think we're now, where are we, Sandy? 290? 290? Yeah, so we're doing it. But anyway, and this is not what we're saying here that should happen, but somebody passed away and gave them the money. But all I'm saying is there are so many different ways that money and things can come to you, right? And things can happen. So let me get back to the story, the possibility story. No one planned it at first. It began as a feeling. A bright shimmer of excitement that danced through their meditations, their conversations. And someone said, wouldn't it be amazing if we had a space where we could have concerts and plays and have guest speakers come in from all over the world and share with us? Another person said, you know, I'd like to have a little cafe where people could come and sit, drink coffee, eat a sandwich, and talk about spirit, talk about their lives, talk about what is important to them. They didn't have any blueprints, but you know what they did have? They had goosebumps. How many know that goosebumps sometimes is a signal that you're on the right path? So following their joy, they decided not to push or force. They simply followed what felt joyful next. What's the next exciting thing we can do? So they held a vision day, not to beg the universe, but to celebrate what already existed in the spiritual dimension. They drew pictures, they laughed, they imagined walls made of light, rooms filled with music, and children's voices echoing down the hallways of joy. Little children were drawing playgrounds, and everybody was following their joy. One woman brought flowers and said, let's bless the land as if the building already stands. Let's see it as if it's already happened. So they did. They walked the grounds. And each step was a prayer of gratitude. They didn't know how. They only knew the wow, right? And the energy built, continued to build. So weeks later, an architect showed up. Uninvited, but divinely guided. Does that sound good? He said, I don't know why, but I feel called to design sacred spaces. And then out of nowhere, a donor showed up saying, I want to fund something that uplifts the soul. Even construction workers felt something unusual. And they says, it feels good here. It feels good here. And one person said, it's like the land is already alive. And soon, a state-of-the-art sanctuary rose from the ground. A glass atrium, can you see it with me? That caught the sunrise light like stained glass from heaven. A theater-style auditorium concerts, plays, and Sunday morning inspiration. Fellowship cafe where laughter brewed stronger than the coffee. Right, Leah? Meditation gardens by the pond where dragonflies seem to hum. Amen. Can you feel that? Youth rooms filled with art, color, and curiosity. And a book and gift shop called The Light Within. You like that? Carrying stories that reminded people about who they really are. So when asked how it happened, the minister smiled and said, "We didn't build it. We became it first." They had aligned their frequency to the feeling of already being there. They lived as if it already existed, in gratitude and joy and unity. And the universe mirrored that vibration with perfect precision. Let's take a breath. So what's the moral of the story? The building didn't come from struggle or strategy. It came from a shared vibration of excitement, trust, and joyful imagination. Every brick was laid by faith. Every wood beam was installed through belief. Because it wasn't built for them, it was built through them. So do you know who these people are? Do you know who they are? No. All of us. Whoever chooses, right? Rumi said, "Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside you. Stop acting so small. You are the universe in ecstatic motion. Set your life on fire." Wow. Set your life on fire. Can you do that? Follow your bliss, said Joseph Campbell, and the universe will open doors where there were only walls. We're going to turn the lights down for just a moment. Invite you to get comfortable right where you're at. And just breathe. Just use your imagination for a moment with me. See, we do our part, and God does the rest. We just follow our joy, one step at a time. And it takes us to where we need to be, where we want to be, where we envision being. I wonder if you have a dream in your heart, in your own life. Maybe there's a business you've been thinking about starting. Maybe you need some more prosperity in your life. Follow your joy. Follow those tickles. Those inner urgings that will guide you and lead you to where you need to be in the moment. Say to yourself over and over, I'm always at the right place at the right time. I'm always at the right place at the right time. I have whatever I need whenever I need it. I'm grateful and thankful and appreciative of all the good in my life. And as you begin to affirm, as you begin to imagine and envision. And follow what excites you from one moment to the next. Perhaps like the lady with the garden. You'll learn and discover that God wants you to be joyful. God wants you to have the good things. The joy, the peace, positive relationships. Let us open our hearts. Let us wake up this morning a little bit more. Open the space for a little more joy. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? In this moment, we remember to pray and affirm the highest good for all people everywhere. Peace in the world, forgiveness, healing. A world that works for everybody on this planet. We pray the highest and best for our government, for our leaders, for our nation. For all people everywhere. We hold them in love and in light and in peace. Deep breath. We say, thank you, God, for the gift of joy today. And so be it. And so it is. All right. Let yourself come out of your meditation a little bit at a time. Reach and stretch.